Welcome back to Run It Back with Max and RJ. Obviously, David Sears joining us. Mm-hmm. You know what? How's your day going?
My day's going pretty good. It's almost over.
Good day, good week. You have the noon show to do?
Yeah.
You look very dapper. Nice tie. Complimented before we sat out here.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It's a wife tie.
I like it. Yeah, very nice.
Job.
You know what a wife tie is, don't you?
I assume.
She picks up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did a good job.
The same way, yeah.
She pretty much lays out the suits.
Pretty much, yeah.
Especially when you go on the road. It's always good to have somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
She puts the ties and the shirts and the suits together.
I will commend you. I think I've said it to you before. Pocket square game, you're the king.
Yeah.
I will remember. It's kind of like stuck in my head. I think it was 4th of July. You had red, white, and blue pocket square.
Very nice.
It's very impressive.
Thank you.
All right. I guess we should start.
Another wife trick.
There you go. It was great. It made me step up my game.
Did you step up your game?
I tried to.
Okay.
I'm not at the triple pocket
We're on
square.
Saturday mornings and
Speaking
Sunday
of-
mornings now, so we're going to have to check that out. All right.
That's true.
All right. I used my best one last week, so I got to stock up.
Do you know what else makes this week so
Rotate
good? Spurs are on a 3-game winning streak and win the 4 at home.
Well, yeah, but what are they on? 8 now?
They're
9 games.
Nine game.
But
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
9 game winning
they
streak.
won
Just this week.
Just this
Yeah.
week, they've won all 4 of these, or 3 of these at home on this homestand.
So
they've won
going
9 in a
in-
row and 11 in a row at home.
And the big one was obviously against the Warriors. Going into the game, you guys were both at the game, right?
Yes.
Going into the game, what were your realistic expectations?
That the way the Warriors have been playing, if the Spurs played a near perfect game, they could beat them.
And so, observations?
Realistic expectations, I expected the Spurs to be able to compete with them the way they've been playing, but was really kind of interested to see that if the defense would translate against a team with the offensive firepower that the Warriors have. And we saw it, even though Golden State was missing a few guys.
2 key
Golden
guys.
State was, Golden State was
I wouldn't
engaged.
call them key guys.
Golden
I'd say
State
Kevin
wanted-
Durant's a key guy.
Well, Durant played.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
DeMarcus Cousins is a key
Cousins,
guy.
yeah.
I'd say he's a key guy.
DeMarcus, I think, adds obviously a whole different dynamic to them. But you know what? Those guys wanted to win. Steph, Clay, you can tell, Kerr, they all wanted to win this game. They're obviously in a race for the top seed in the Western Conference. And I thought the Spurs played probably their best game of the season from start to finish. Mistakes, of course. Like Pop always says, there's going to be mistakes. But the effort, the defensive tenacity, I think were there for the entire game.
This is the injury thing. I throw that out the window because the Spurs don't have DeJounte Murray. Hadn't had him all season. No, I'm serious.
Yeah, no.
He would have been a key player this year. So every time people start talking about injuries,
But when you say injuries, you have to factor in that if they meet again in the playoffs, they're going to have DeMarcus. So it wasn't a real.
Maybe not.
That
You're
was
going to
my,
think that they have DeMarcus.
Right. That was my only caveat to the Spurs winning, but at the same time, seeing the effort that Golden State put into this game, I think it was a pretty big win for the Spurs and really kind of established them as a team that's going to be tough to beat in the playoffs. I mean, how far they go, but
I don't want to take anything away from. Yeah, DeMarcus didn't play, but that is still a huge win for the Spurs. Keep the winning streak going, obviously against reigning champs,
right?
And a team that a lot of people are calling one of the best of all time.
It wakes up the rest of the league to the Spurs, which sometimes the Spurs don't like that. They'd rather sneak in under the wire. For 20 years, that's the way they've always played. But it also tells them, once again, that they've come together on both ends of the floor, mostly defense, and it tells them that they can beat anybody that you put in front of them.
Well, talking about people waking up, it woke up the national media because you don't really hear. I mean, we're in a bubble here, and we talk about them every morning, every night. But you turned on ESPN, and it was like, it wasn't the headlines I hated seeing. It wasn't Spurs are back.
Steph Curry makes 60-foot jump shot.
It was Steph Curry makes 61-foot jump shot, and then are Warriors in trouble?
Of course,
it wasn't giving any.
But that's the way the Spurs like it. The Spurs don't want a headline.
No.
The Spurs would wake up and hate to see Spurs on the way. And they're
back on top.
No, we don't want that. We don't want any of that.
You mentioned some of the national attention I saw yesterday. So the Spurs were on First Take, Stephen A. Smith, talking about this San Antonio team. He said that he doesn't expect them to go very far because LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan have proven nothing in the playoffs. They've never won. My big point with DeMar, has been like, we're going to really kind of see the value of DeMar kind of in the playoffs, and that'll be interesting to see.
So Klay Thompson is an all NBA defender.
Right.
And you saw it firsthand.
Right.
What did he say when you asked him after the game how defending DeMar went.
Well, that was actually one of the reporters from Sports Tonight who asked him that, but he said that the Spurs did absolutely nothing to defend them, to kind of cause them some issues, and that the Warriors just missed shots. He said we still got our looks.
But I'm talking about when he had to defend DeMar.
When he had to defend DeMar, he said that DeMar just made a tough shot over him, that he was in his face. I mean,
but his excuse was we just missed shots. But when you have to say that, that tells me that they were defending him pretty good. He did miss some open shots. I'll give him that. But not every shot was open. Yeah. A lot of them were contested, and he was missing some tough shots. And that tells me that they wanted to win, like he said. Yeah. They were out there to win. They wanted to get their run going because
they had just beaten Oklahoma City pretty bad on Saturday night. The Warriors had.
And then they come in here, and I'm telling you, they're not as good a team as they used to be in the past.
No, I agree. Listen, our first podcast, I came on and said, I think the Warriors' reign over the league is over.
Wow.
So that's our first, that was literally our first podcast.
So
2 stats that really jumped out to me, 22 straight years.
Yeah, man.
That's amazing. Yeah. Winning record. I mean, to get the winning record was to beat the Warriors, the reigning champs, the number 1 seed.
Those are 2 good ones.
And then 65 days since 1997-98 season, only 65 days with a losing record.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Been around for
the other one of those.
Yeah.
43 years this franchise has been in existence here, and they've been in the playoffs 35 of those 43 years.
I mean,
so think about it. That's 8 years out of 43. There's teams that don't get in the playoffs 8 years, and this team has missed the playoffs 8 years.
I don't think it's any news though that the Spurs. If you're a basketball fan, you have to respect what the Spurs do in and out every season, at least for the last 22 years, because they are the model of stability in the league.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes.
I mean, you're one who the other week said you hate the term tanking because you don't think that you should ever tank. No. And you have teams tanking
every year. Look at them now. Look where they are.
Yeah.
They're in 5th, and they had a chance to be in 4th. Can you imagine the way they started?
Oh, yeah.
If they actually end up in the 4th spot? Or,
think about when we were talking about them with the rodeo road trip.
Yeah. Something weird happens, they could be in the 3rd spot.
Yeah.
But go back to the beginning of the season. Were they ever even in the 5th spot at the beginning of the season? I think maybe once they reached the 5th spot, but it was all jumbled up. But I mean, we were sitting there going, "Oh my God!"
They were 11 and 14, and that was really kind of a little bit of a breaking.
And they were out of the
them.
playoffs.
They were out of it. They were like
outside
in the
looking
14th spot in the West.
But
I'm going to say this right now. I think even though probably not going to happen, but I don't see how Coach Popovich does not get either 1 or 2 in Coach of the Year for the NBA, because I think Doc Rivers has done a great job. Doc Rivers has done great with the Clippers. I think we've seen some, Brooklyn's done great. Obviously we have the top of the Eastern Conference.
Luke Walton's not going to make it?
Luke Walton, I think, is not. But how does Coach Popovich...
the first fired of the year.
I was going to say, he's not going to have a job.
Yeah, how does Coach Pop not get... Okay, maybe Malone with Denver, but how does Coach Pop not get any recognition? Because they had to give away a star player, a top 3, 4, 5 player, get back a guy who was upset, disgruntled DeMar.
Oh, Bud's also going to be in there.
Switch him around, switch DeMar into a playmaker. They lost DeJounte. They lost Derek White. I mean, to completely switch around. This has been one of the best jobs that Coach Pop has done.
The problem is, it's the same. It's the Michael Jordan factor. You can only give it to him so many times.
True, which he's probably not going to get. He probably doesn't want it.
No,
Pop doesn't.
So you got to think Budenholzer in the Bucks. I mean, they were barely a playoff team last year. Almost the same roster. He comes in.
Denver
and Malone. I mean, they didn't make the playoffs last year,
and they're giving and they could actually win the West.
Right.
I mean, they're half a game back right now, but they could actually win the West.
So going forward, because you actually have a show to do.
I'm good, man. I got 30 minutes.
we talked about DeMar. He's really stepped up recently. How far, if DeMar keeps playing at this level, keeps making these incredible shots, every game now is just a highlight reel for him.
Yeah, you talk about the incredible shots, and they're incredible shots. But the way he can find a guy who's
the
open
offense
for a
running
three,
through him, because you said it, where he can draw on the defense and throw it out.
We've been talking about that for a lot, and he did it again the other night. I mean, and poor Davis Bertans couldn't hit the broadside of a barn until the very end, and not only did he hit the barn, but he hit the net too.
But that's also DeMar giving these guys the confidence.
Yeah,
DeMar still kicked it out.
Shooting.
He said, "What? He'll miss 100. He'll still make 101.
He'll make the 101st." So and that's the way it is. I mean, that's the way those shooters are. I mean,
so how far do you see this team going in the playoffs?
Well, we kind of did the math on the schedule.
Oh, you guys broke it down.
There's 11 games left. I think they can get to 50 wins.
You think in the playoffs?
I said in the playoffs.
But,
I think
they
can get 50 wins.
The matchups, I mean, it depends on the matchups.
Look, regular seasons are great, but I'm talking playoffs.
Yeah.
I think they'll get to the second round.
Okay.
And depending on home court, who it is, and how things have shaped out, it would not surprise me if they made it to the Western Conference Finals.
Okay. That was literally my next question.
Wouldn't surprise me if they did, because people are talking about them. Oh, you don't want to play them. You don't want to play them because they're in that role. Mm-hmm. But for them, they've already got some fear spread out around the league. I mean, people don't want to play them. So and like I said, how much attention do the Spurs get? They don't get any attention. They got attention the other day. Where these guys been? Yeah. And that's exactly the way the Spurs love it. They don't want attention. They want to fly under that radar the whole time, and somebody will wake up one day and go, how'd the Spurs get to the Western Conference Finals? They were a terrible team just the other day. Yeah. They've been playing better the whole season. Look where they started. Look where they are now. That trajectory has just gone. Just like, you got to the rodeo road trip and kind of went, oops.
Derek White was out for the majority of the game.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
Second round, but if they make it to the second round, I think the rest is just like playing with house money pretty much. It's all gravy after that. Yeah. They can get to the Western Conference Finals.
I think Western Conference is obviously the peak. I don't think they get to the finals.
Right.
I don't think they get out of the second round, to be honest.
But I think they can get to the second round.
I think they can make it to the second.
You're talking playoffs. Yeah. Stuff. Yeah. Weird stuff happens in the playoffs.
I'll be the first to say I think Pop can outcoach anyone out there. I also don't think the Nuggets are a real team. I wouldn't be surprised.
Now that I'll go with you. I think they're going to get into the. We run it over.
We're running way over.
No, that's all right.
Where's Andrew?
Our director, dude.
Yeah, he's out. Andrew took a break.
I think the Nuggets don't have the playoff experience, and I think they're going to be in for a rude awakening.
Yep.
And I think the Spurs with DeMar and LaMarcus who've been there, and I think they bring Jakob along, and I think you've got.
I think Derek White is very underrated still.
Yeah, and I think he's one player who can handle the playoff pressure, not having spent much time in the playoffs.
Yeah, so, Derek White, sneaky candidate for an all-defensive team.
And then you've got Patty, and you've got and you've got Pop. I mean,
right, and he's going to be the X factor. Everyone says who's the X factor in a game. It's the coach.
Yeah. But you look at who they can play, and you look at those teams. Houston Rockets have one guy on their team.
The problem is you can't defend it.
The Oklahoma City Thunder have one guy on their team. They're falling apart too. And they're falling apart.
And they have a guy and a half.
Yeah.
They can beat Portland. They can beat Denver.
Well, Portland's going to be different because you don't know if CJ is going to be healthy.
Yeah. So apparently McCollum may.
We are way over. David, anything you want to plug? Anything you want to say before you head out?
Y'all hurry up so everybody can go tune over to watch the KSAT News at noon.
There you go.
Doing it.
Go Spurs, go. Miami tonight, you're there.
Yeah.
I'm home in bed because I got to be on the morning show tomorrow morning at 4:30 a.m. So I'm not going to the Spurs game. I might have one eye open on it, but
sure. You don't want to throw out a Reckham?
A Reckham?
Reckham Tech? Okay.
Hey, y'all are doing the brackets later?
We're doing a bracket.
Ask me who's in the Final Four, baby.
Let me guess.
I got Texas.
You got Tech in the Final Four? All right.
Tech in the Final Four, and I'm not going to tell you how far they go after that. But
David Sears, thank you so much.